Okay, let's take a look at B. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add this 1 here. This is going to tell me that because it's a negative number, it tells me that this thing is going to head down. So I'm going to create my chart over, up, down, but I'm going to write down because I know it heads down because it's negative out in front. This is a negative number. It's always 1, 1, 1, and then 1, 3, 5, and then timesing it by the number out in front. In this case, you're just timesing it by -1. That does absolutely nothing other than make these numbers negative, which should be a hint to you that you're going to head down. Now the vertex is x comma y. The x is right here. It's a +3, so we'll change it because you always change the inside number, so change it to -3. The y is outside. It's the 5. It stays 5. And it's very easy after this. Once you have the vertex, you go -3, comma 5. And then from that vertex, go over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1, 2, 3, over 1, down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do that the same. Over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1, 2, 3, over 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Connect the dots. Do it much nicer than mine. Take a look at my notes online, and hopefully I did it a little bit nicer there. That's all there is to it. You start with your vertex, and then from there you do your over-down chart, and make sure you do symmetrical on both sides. Let's take a look at C. Okay, vertex. Change the number on the inside, so instead of a +5, it's -5. Keep it at negative there, so -4. So I can go -5 and -4. Over 5, down 4. That is my vertex. Then I've got this over, up, down. I'm going to say it's up because it's a +2. So because it's a +2, that means I'm going to be heading up. And it's always 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 5. I need to times that by the number in front, in which case it is 2. So I get 2, 3 times 2 is 6, 5 times 2 is 10. Perfect. So from my vertex, I can go over 1, up 2 now. And then over 1, up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then over 1, up 10, and that would go way off the graph here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like somewhere way up there. And then on this side, so you don't have to do this point. And then do the same to the left. Over 1, up 2, over 1, up 6, over 1, up 10. And then you can connect the dots, and you're done. Keep in mind the axis of symmetry that I had talked about in the first one. It is symmetrical here. So we say it has an axis of symmetry when x equals -5. And continuing on, D. Okay, so we have to start with a vertex, change it on the inside. So instead of +1, it's a -1. +6 stays +6. So I can go -1, up 6. That's my vertex. Now I need to do an over, up, down chart. Now it is going to be heading down, and I know that because it is a -3. So because it's a negative, I'm heading down. It's always 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 5, and I'm going to times this by -3. And I'm going to get 1 times -3 is -3. 3 times -3 is -9. That would be -15. So from here, I'm going to go over 1 and then down 3. Over 1, down 1, 2, 3. Over 1, down 1, 2, 3. And then over 1, down 9. Over 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And over 1, down 3, 6, 9. So this one's a lot skinnier. So, I was going to just do those 3. I didn't realize I had some more to do. So I'm going to keep doing those ones because they're just as easy. So let's take a look at E. Well, first actually I'll zoom out and you can take a look at A, B, C, D if it's worthwhile to you. But the notes are already online. And here we go again, Vertex. So my Vertex is going to be change the symbol to a +3, leave that one, so -4. So over 3, 1, 2, 3, down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 3, -4. And then I'm going to do over, up, down. Now it's a +0.5, so because it's positive, I know it's going to head up. So my over and my up, and I know it's positive, so it's up. I will always have 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 5, but I'm going to times this by 0.5, which is a half. So a half of 1, well, a half of 1 is a half. A half of 3, that's 1.5. A half of 5, if you have a half of $5, well, that's 2.5. So, I mean, it's just the same as it was before. So you have your vertex over 3, down 4, over 1, up a half. I'll try to zoom in a little bit more. So you can see I'm only going over 1, up a half. And then over 1 and up 1.5. So over 1, up 1.5. Over 1, up 1.5. Now be careful. Look at how I measured that. This from here to here, I did 1 full square and then a half square, which is a total distance of 1.5. So just make sure that you did go over a half and another 1. That's a total distance of 1.5. Then over 1 up 2.5. 1, 2.5. Over 1 up 1, 2.5. I can probably just do another one here, 1 and 7. Because if I take 7 and times it by 0.5, 7 times 0.5, or a half of 7 is 3.5. So I'm going to go over 1 and up 3.5. So there's the 0.5, and then 1, 2, 3. And then over 1, up the 0.5, and 1, 2, 3. So if you look closely, I don't think I can zoom in anymore, but this distance is 1 full square, another full square, another full square, and then a half square. So there's 3.5. So just double count to make sure that everything is good. Connect the dots, and you're done. The last one here, F, absolutely no different, except that instead of writing 0.5, I wrote a half. I guess I tried to trick you, but I don't know how much that actually does. My vertex for this is change the sign, so it's a +1, leave that one, +6. So vertex over 1, up 6. Now, my chart is going to be over, now is it up or down? It is a negative, so we are going to be heading down. 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 5. Always the same. Times that by -0.5, -0.5, -0.5. I generally will just, the -0.5 will probably be as complex as it'll get. So a half of 1 is also a half, but negative. In fact, all of these will be negative, so I'll put the negative symbols down. A half of 3 is 1.5. A half of 5 is 2.5. Knowing that this is a match of the other one, I'm actually just going to do 7 as well. A half of 7 is 3.5, and I have to make it negative. And I'll change this 1/2 to 0.5, just because. So from my vertex, go over 1 and down. So over 1 and down a half on both sides. Over 1 and down a half. Then over 1 and down 1.5. So there's my half and there's my 1. And over 1, down a half, and then 1. For a total distance of 1.5 squares. And then over 1, down 2.5. So 1 full square, 2 full squares, and then a half. Over here, down 1 full square, 2 full square, and a half. And then over 1 down, was it 3.5? So there's the 0.5, and then 1, 2, 3. And there's the half, and then 1, 2, 3. I don't know how much more I can help you with that sort of stuff. You have to understand that that distance is just 3.5. That's just called counting. You're literally counting the squares. There's 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, and then a half square for a total distance of 3.5. So keep that in mind. Connect the dots. And I will zoom out for these two questions for you to take a look at how I've written things, but also take a look at the notes online.